Great kid, don't get cocky. Here we are, everybody, issue 93, and from the title, you'll be able to tell this is going to be part one. I'm fairly confident. But let's go ahead and see what we got going on here. We have an HTC 2001 Dragon Boat freighter. So this is probably from Rebels, I'm going to guess. Or Clone Wars. Looks like Clone Wars. Yeah, so that's Clone Wars, and we'll see what that's all about. Ooh, then we have military and naval command structure. We get to see a lot of different people. That's the guy that played Tarkin in Revenge of the Sith. He probably could have been a bit taller, but he's got his gaunt, kind of ugly face going. But there you go. We'll go through all that. Let's get right into this one. So here's our parts. I'm not going to break that out just yet, I don't think, because I'm guessing I've got some stuff that I want to do first. Fitting the upper hall recesses. Hey, we're ahead of the game. I've already done that. Fitting the cockpit. Hey, we're kind of behind the ball on that. I need to get this figured out. So, in anticipation of needing to get this done sometime, I've got my brother's piece here. And you guys, you can kind of see it there. You can see, I mean, I'm squeezing it down pretty tight, and there's still light and stuff coming through there. So, that's a bit of a problem, and it's a bit annoying. So what I want to do is try to figure it out how to get around that. So one of the things, I haven't been very satisfied with any of the stuff I've tried so far. There's an idea of putting like tape across here and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that by the time I get this in here, I can't get tape clear up in this front part, and it'd be really difficult to do anyway because that's where the thing is. But I would need to at least get it right across there, right? So I'd at least need to be able to get it across there. Then I'd have to go all the way across this seam. So that's just not going to be very good. Plus I'd have to get around this corner, and that ain't going to happen. Not once I actually put the cockpit into this corridor. So I'm going to use his to try this out. And we'll kind of go from there. So I'm just going to set his in here, and we'll use this as a guinea pig. So also, this is something that I've been thinking about for a while and trying to figure out the best way to do it. So if this works, when I get ready to do this on mine, I will be gluing it. But of course, I need to make sure that it stays tight, right? So of course, this hasn't been glued together, this cockpit. So, get that in there. So we're just going to go with a couple of rubber bands. We're going to hold this together across the front. And you're going to see what I'm going to do here in a minute. Never mind the falling pieces. Like I said, this has not been glued in. So had I not stolen one of these back seats, I actually would have probably ended up decorating this up and putting it together and used it as kind of a giveaway for somebody after the fact. So we got that. Let's put a couple along the back here. So when I go to do this on mine, what I'll do is I'll glue it first, use the rubber bands to hold it all down and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll come back and try this. So we've got this all tight, and let's see. You can still see the light through there, so you can still see right through here. See that? Yeah. So you can still see. You can even see when I put my hand across it, right? So not sealed very well. So as a potential solution, let's get this out of the way. We're not going to need that for a moment. As a potential solution, we're going to try putty. So now obviously on mine, it's already painted. And you can also see this, it's not glued, but you can see how difficult it would be to get this clear up at the front here. You can see me put my fingers back and forth across there. So with mine, it's painted, which means I may or may not need to sand it in order for the putty to stick and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try a couple of different techniques here. So we'll just put some putty out here to work with. Now this putty is pretty crazy to work with. Let me grab a glove real quick because I think I'm going to try to just smear it on with my fingers. All right, so we'll try a little patch with just the fingers and see how this works. So you can kind of see there. Um, so yeah, I could, if I had longer fingers. So one, I might go ahead and get putty out and go along here anyway, because I was looking at, you can really see the crack. So I might do that anyway, and then I would just have to, try to sand it lightly. And this has got a pretty decent crack along the side here too. Sand it lightly and repaint it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't like, you hold it just right. So there's a pretty decent seam there. So I'll probably do something with that. Uh, so I've got this chrome tape. And what I think I'm going to do is somebody had suggested, I can't remember who it was now off the top of my head, but somebody had suggested using chrome tape to help, because I had built this piece here and put that over there, but it didn't sit in there very well. It wasn't really a good idea. It's really hard to do. And I didn't check it with the lighting, but I mean, I think it was kind of somewhat sealed up. So for the most part, it was okay. But I think what I'm going to do is if I take this chrome tape, I'm going to cut a strip that is just wide enough to go across there. So basically, if I cut this in half, looks like something that ILM probably would have done actually when they were making the model, just to make sure that the lights worked the way they wanted. Anything to help make them brighter, plus also protect different things. They did all kinds of stuff like that. So the final test to this will be actually plugging it in. I'll put this all together and I'll go plug it into the circuit board. We'll test, see how bright it is. See if it brightens it up. I'm worried because I had to push this down quite a bit. I'm worried that it might block off some of these up here, but we'll see. So I'll go do that. I'll come back and let you know. I've got the everything powered on over there, so I can't pull it back here, and show you guys. So you'll just have to take my word for it how it looks. And it's possible it doesn't brighten up any of these, and if it doesn't, then I'll just pull it all off because it won't matter. I would say that it is brighter. I did take this one over and plugged it in as well. And one of my concerns was that along the top here, that this was going to be shielding it off. And I looked on that one, and those lights aren't lit up anyway. So that's not going to be a concern. So, but it did seem to be brighter to me. So with that, I think I will leave that on there, provided that it's not going to cause any kind of a problem with the lighting or anything. One thing that I might do is go ahead and put tape all along the back there because it did have a bit of a glow. But I mean, in reality, if I get this good and closed up, it shouldn't be a problem. So if I get this closed up and get some putty put across there, then I should be fine. Now, if I could find, probably putty would work. This, I was thinking like maybe some white caulking. That would probably work. But again, I have to wait until I get it all glued up. So let's see how this putty turns out. Once it's dry, we'll come back and take a look at it and see. I don't think I'll put it on the outside because I don't want to have to go through and do all the extra sanding and everything like that. So, yeah. So we'll just see about putting it on the inside. So we'll come back, see how all that comes out, and make our decision on how we're going to do this. See you guys here after a bit. Okay, welcome back everybody. So kind of reset a little bit. Things have dried. I've kind of gone back and forth on what I'm actually going to do. Let me kind of walk you through this. So I bought some DAP painter's acrylic latex caulk. It's paintable, easy water cleanup, low odor, interior and exterior. The important part was it's white and it's paintable. So what I was thinking about doing, because this would have been what I thought maybe the easiest would be, just put caulk out on this tape here and just squeeze out a bunch and then just put a light coat on the inside. And then when I put this together, then they could just kind of squish and hopefully not too much would come out. That was all well and good. And I was ready to pull the trigger. And then I pulled this apart. So obviously I had done this before. And I did some from the outside and then I did some from the inside. Now, what's interesting is if you look on this, so this is here, this one I did from the inside, and I just pushed and it squeezed its way all the way out. So that's pretty interesting, right? And then on this front part, here, I put it on the outside, and you can see where it squeezed all the way in. Even where I was kind of light, I had light just a little bit there, but it squeezed all the way in. Even here, you can see where it was very light. You can see how light it was across there. I just basically had run my finger across there. but it had basically filled that gap. Because of that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the putty and I'm just going to put just a little bit along the inside, just a slight coating all the way across along the inside of everything. That way I can still put glue on the pegs and all that. So just a light coat on the inside edge, get glue on all these pegs, and then I'm going to put it together. And it should squeeze out, hopefully a little bit on the outside, mostly on the inside, and hopefully it'll seal it up. Now, the good news is, provided that the part that doesn't get sealed up is the very front, which is the part I'm most worried about because I can't really get to it. So once these pieces go together, like this being the bottom, once this goes together, I can't get past this peg, right? So I can't get on the other side to put anything there. So I'm probably going to have to put a fair amount right around there. So I am going to use a micro brush for that. I got my glove out here because this stuff, this putty sticks to everything, and it sticks really well. In fact, when I pulled this apart, I had to actually break it loose because it had basically stuck them together. So that was pretty interesting. So I need to have that ready to go. Don't need this here now. So we have the bottom. I'm just going to put them on the bottom, and then we'll stick the top on top. So without any further ado, I should not be this freaking nervous, but I am. If I have to touch up the outside, I will. May got it. At least a good portion of it. There's still, the light's just right. A little bit of light passes through from the outside. So another reason why completely covering up that light will be helpful, because there'll be less light here. So yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. There's going to have to be some cleanup, and probably some paint touch up and all those things. Like I said, a bit stressful. Probably should have done this a long time ago and got the stress out of the road, especially since I'm going to need to really start touching up the paint on this. And the reason why I say that is because once I actually attach this to the Falcon, it's going to make it that much more difficult to do all the weathering and everything like that to it. So I really need to kind of pay attention to that and try to get as much as possible done with that. So there is that. I think since there's going to be a little bit of painting and stuff needs to be done, I didn't trying to talk myself out of doing this, and I just can't help it. I'm going to have to do this. All right, so that will dry, and I will paint it again. And yeah, there's some additional detailing and stuff that needs to be on here anyway, so I'll probably mask off like this part because I don't want to have to paint it completely again. But yeah, so there's going to be some additional detailing that needs to go on here, part of the weathering process. I'm going to probably have to weather this all before it actually gets attached. So that is everything for part one. So what have we accomplished? That's already been put on. Hey, we're ahead of the game, but not really, because then we step way back and we still need to get this put together. Essentially, it's all put together. We can mount it, but you notice this isn't painted, and they don't go through. Somehow they put the whole thing together and paint it, and or at least they, I don't know. They tell you how to paint it after the fact, which seems like a bad idea. A couple issues ago, it recommended painting, doing all the weathering and stuff of the parts of the mandible before you put the top on. So we got a lot of this stuff already done. Um, one of them being that part, right? So we'll be able to mount that. That'll be quick and easy. We will do something in part two. So we'll see you guys in part two. I want to thank you all for watching, and may the force be with you always.